Welcome to 52 Drinks in 52 Weeks. And today we are taking things a bit sweeter. Now normally people think sweet wines are only frivolous or for just fun, but some of them can be serious. And this one here has a history that goes back to the 6th century AD. So we are tasting a Recioto Della Valpolicella, which comes from Valpolicella in Italy, and a 6th century AD recipe that has been held till today.
Right. So it's not just the wine that has a little bit of history, even this bottle has a little bit. Although we are tasting this in 2020, this bottle was very graciously gifted by you on my birthday in 2012. But the grapes were harvested in 2004 when I was still in school. Talking about grapes, Recioto della Valpolicella is made from three primary grapes. The grapes are harvested and they are dried for a process of about 60 to 100 days. And these dried grapes are called passito, and the entire process of drying the grapes are called appassimento. The fermentation process takes about 2 months just because there's just so much concentrated sugar that the yeast takes its own sweet time, and after all it gives up, rendering the wine sweet. Because the wine is sweet enough, it does not require any further aging and it is ready to be drunk. No oak aging, no bottle aging, just ready to be enjoyed.
So curiously enough, it's a very similar process that another wine uses called the Amarone Della Valpolicella. The difference being the Amarone grapes may not be dried for as long as the Recioto grapes, maybe 40 days. The fermentation might be quicker, but it's fermented to dryness. So you get up these big, boozy, boisterous wines, bold, tannic, which need some oak aging and a lot of time before you open them. But same grapes, I think, same styles of sort of appassimento, but then completely different wines. One is sweet, one is dry.
However, one thing that Amarone doesn't do and the Recioto does is that it is one of the unique sweet wines of the world, which is also available in a sparkling or a spumante way. So you can get a sweet sparkling wine in this region as well.
So and this draws back to the fact that also I think you shared earlier that Recioto is now growing in production, right?
Yes, yeah. So since 2005 and now, between these 15 years, the production has doubled, and that's the reason why we believe that in a few days to come, you might see this more often on the shelves.
So we should focus on it. But it's a small bottle, not a big bottle, I guess.
Yeah, it's a ½ liter bottle. Too much sugar, very expensive. Raisins versus grape, the price is almost 5 times the quantity, and not to forget the calorie count.
Yeah, but remember, sugar was always a rare commodity back in the day. So for someone rich, sugar was the luxury they could afford, and the poorer people didn't have that. And that's why sugar was all the rage. Now with the commercialization of sugar, it's become a commodity and we sort of eschew it and don't like it. But back then this was a cool style. So that's pretty much what we have on Recioto.
Should we taste it?
We should.
Yeah, but a quick question. Why is Recioto della Valpolicella called so?
So there are many stories that we both shared and discussed, and the one that sort of gets corroborated is that back in the day, in the dialect, the word rece means the ear, not the lobe, everything, and how it sits on the head is how those grapes would sit on the branches as they dried and shriveled to their raisin-like consistency maybe, or before they were picked, and that's why Rece led to Recioto. And there are other stories. If you find some interesting ones, do share it with us. This is the one we are going with for now. And
I'm almost ready to share this wine.
Nice. The cork looks decent. The cork looks good.
All right. So a small little portion. Yeah. Small one. Yeah.
Already the color shows.
Right. Sahil, don't worry, you'll get your share as well.
That's a pretty intense nose.
Yeah.
I think it's 2004, so it's 16 years in, and I still think it needs time to, at least in this glass, to open up and.
Right. It's a pretty dark color, pretty opaque. You can't see through it.
Yeah.
The rims are still very tight. They're not fading as much as a 16-year-old wine must show.
Sure, the aging is not very, and there's clearly no signs of any deposit or sediment, so it's still tight and the emulsion's holding through.
Right, and don't be duped about the color. Although it is a dark colored wine, but because there is a good amount of sugar in it, we are tasting this wine, which is pretty well chilled, about 6 to 8 degrees temperature. Yeah. So on the nose, I see a lot of intense fruity aromas, a lot of little sweet red fruits, some stewed fruits as well. I could sense a little bit of oak in this wine, some bit of leather, savory, earthy, little bit of that mushroom tertiary aroma is there. But the vibrancy of the fruit is still primary, I believe.
I've kind of gone a step ahead. I took a sip, And what I find here is that it shows a little bit more age on the palate, and I find a lot more of that olive tapenade, some mature fruit showing through, the prunes in there, plums as well. There's still a very fruity wine.
Yeah.
What I couldn't tell, thanks to the temperature also, was the alcohol. So I know it's really heady, but it's really balanced, showing well. I don't see the need for excess of oak aging. I think this one might have some, but overall the tannins are nice and integrated.
Very soft,
It's showing well.
soft and velvety. I could also get a lot of chocolate, caramel, cocoa, almost like a tiramisu sort of flavor as well, which brings us to the pairing bit as well. Sauternes, Moscato d'Asti, these sort of wines goes very well with milk-based desserts. And wines like these go very well with chocolates, caramel.
The 3 C's, yeah. Chocolate,
and
caramel, coffee, cocoa,
Yeah.
whatever works.
I actually remember when I visited the area for the first time for dessert, we got a bitter chocolate, bitter cherry and
work.
chocolate cake. And
So
we served
cherries
it with
actually,
this
that'd be a
wine.
good one with this one.
Yeah. And also this wine is sweet. So do remember there is about 130 grams of sugar in it, which is about 26 sachets per bottle.
So yeah. So we had a spittoon, but it's not been used, obviously, because such a wine merits to be drunk. So I'm going to go back to enjoying my wine. That's a Recioto. So in our attempt to uncover wines that are unknown, maybe even getting more popular, I think we've got a good one here. Gagan, thank you for sharing this.
And you were gifting it.
It's a gift that gave back to me, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Until next week.
Cheers.